Whoa, whoa.
Hey.
Okay, all right. So wait, backstory.
Okay, go ahead.
Because I held this in for an entire year, right? So when we first launched the reunion show, somebody that claims to be working in Swizz's camp reached out to me in what I now know is a DM via direct messenger, right? Saying, I work for Swizz and I need you to know that him and Lala have been having an affair. They are madly in love with each other, but he has already told Lala and continues to tell her, calm down, I'm not leaving my wife.
Swizz Beatz, you have been accused of beating women outside of your marriage, okay? They're for JJ's only. Now, according to Miss Jones, she is not just any radio host. First black woman with a syndicated morning show, okay? She claims that a source came to her from Swizz Beatz's camp stating that Swizz Beatz was beating Lala Anthony. Miss Mary, Miss I don't do no wrong. Miss please, I'm a victim. My husband is dragging me.
It looks like Alicia Keys didn't just throw a little shade. She lit the whole stage on fire. She's being accused of blasting Lala Anthony, claiming that Lala is secretly engaged to her man, Swizz Beatz. And this wasn't whispered in some private corner. This revelation landed like a grenade, exploding across timelines and trending charts. What's wild is that the deeper you dig, the more this stops looking like a heat-of-the-moment slip and starts feeling like a messy chess match that's been brewing for years. Allegedly, there are old snapshots, cryptic captions, and insider tips that make the story even juicier. Was Lala really bold enough to play a double game behind the scenes, or is somebody out here pulling strings, stirring up drama, and keeping chaos alive on purpose? And trust me, the pieces just don't add up. It's like trying to solve a puzzle where half the pieces are from a whole different box. Now here's the kicker. Word on the streets is that Alicia didn't just keep it private, she went public with these accusations. And that's when everything flipped upside down.
Favorite looks of the night, bro. You know, you're not doing too bad yourself. You come through and shut it down every single time.
Suddenly, it wasn't just her marriage in the spotlight. The whispers stretched into her entire inner circle, and folks started questioning everything. The second she dropped that bomb, the internet detectives clocked in for overtime. People went back years, digging up old posts, grainy photos, and throwaway captions that nobody thought twice about at the time. Until now. Once the puzzle started connecting in front of everybody's eyes, social media went into complete meltdown. Every tweet, every story, every shady like was fueling the frenzy. And here's where it gets even wilder. One insider swears Alicia wasn't just reacting to rumors, they claim she had receipts in her back pocket the whole time. For the first time, it looks like Alicia wasn't just brushing things off, she'd been clocking the red flags for a while. Strange late-night texts, sudden meetups that didn't add up, cryptic little posts that seemed random back then, but now, they're hitting way too close to home. So the question everybody's asking is this. Was she finally uncovering the truth? Or did she already know the whole time and just decide she was done playing the role of the smiling, loyal wife? Because if the rumors are true, this so-called secret engagement wasn't new at all. It's been simmering right under her nose for years. And the deeper you dig, the uglier the picture gets. Some of these cover-up relationships and staged public appearances are starting to look less like coincidences and more like calculated moves. The puzzle pieces are stacking into a story that feels intentional, messy, and scandalous on purpose. Of course, the internet wasted no time exploding with reactions, TikTok clips, wild tweets, shady memes. Everybody had something to say. Some people were shook, others were laughing it off, and plenty were throwing pure sass into the mix. One fan dropped a comment that had everybody screaming, "Wait, Swizz Beatz and Lala Anthony are allegedly having an affair? Well, Alicia Keys, it's called karma, baby." You could practically feel the side eye shooting off the screen, because at the end of the day, what goes around really does come back around. And people are dragging Alicia with the same energy she once sang about in her own track, Karma. The internet wasted zero time pulling out the old "how you got him is how you lose him" narrative, and it spread like wildfire. Comment sections were flooded with people reminding the world exactly how Alicia and Swizz originally came together, and now the same storyline is circling back with a vengeance. And with Lala allegedly creeping into the mix so quietly, fans swear you can feel the tension vibrating through every single post. No one is letting this slide. The whispers are turning into a chant, and the drama is buzzing louder with every reaction. But this is where the story really started getting messy. The very first time those whispers about Lala and Swizz began floating around, Swizz practically became his own crisis management team. He was jumping in left and right, trying to shut everything down before it got out of hand. At that point, people were still talking about Lala's breakup with Carmelo Anthony, and then out of nowhere came the accusations that she was secretly wrapped up with Swizz Beatz. And this wasn't just some random blog chatter. Radio host Ms. Jones claimed that someone from Swizz's own camp sent her a direct message. That message said Lala was in love with Swizz, but he had made it clear he wasn't leaving Alicia for her. Once that hit the airwaves, the whole situation exploded into a new level of drama. Of course, Swizz didn't take that lightly. He stepped straight into the comments section, ready to defend himself, and typed out what would become a now-famous clapback, "Knock it the F off, ZZZ." The strange way he ended it had fans scratching their heads, some laughing, and others convinced he was panicking under the pressure. And it looks like Alicia bought into it because Swizz didn't just deny the rumors, he doubled down with grand gestures. For her birthday, he allegedly went full-on love bomb mode. The man splurged so big it took 2 months for the gift to even arrive. And when it did, it was no ordinary present. We're talking about a $300,000 custom Maybach, delivered like a rolling trophy of devotion.
Period, huh?
All right, so are you pulling it back? Ready?
Okay, I don't know how to do this.
You just go like this and you pull this.
Yeah, pull it back. Follow easier. Sheesh.
That's crazy.
Nah, that's... Sheesh.
It's crazy.
Nah, in person?
But Swizz didn't stop there. He hit the studio, turning romance into music, and even remixed some of her songs. To top it off, he teamed up with rapper Marv Milley, who dropped bars praising Alicia's artistry, her heart, her legacy, and even went as far as calling her the R&B Rosa Parks. People were quick to ask, how did Rosa get dragged into this? But at the time, the whole thing was framed as a love story told through gifts, music, and public declarations. Yet looking back now, some fans are asking whether all those gestures were pure romance or clever distractions. Because years later, Alicia is putting Lala's name front and center in a secret engagement scandal that refuses to fade away. Those over-the-top gifts don't exactly feel like pure love anymore. Looking back, they seem more like Swizz was making sure Alicia never looked too closely at what might have been going on behind the curtain. And just when you think the drama is only tied to Lala, another twist jumps out of nowhere. The new word on the curb? Swizz Beatz might have gotten somebody else pregnant. And no, not Alicia, not even Lala, but allegedly another woman entirely. The rumor mill claimed she was a white woman, and that detail had fans spinning out. People online were like, wait, Swizz Beatz has a pregnant side chick and she's not even connected to the main drama? It sent timelines into chaos, with Alicia's name dragged right back into the spotlight. But of course, nothing in this story is ever that straightforward. Some people are convinced the other woman isn't real at all, that it's actually Lala being disguised behind a cover-up storyline, with the pregnancy rumor and the race angle used just to shift attention. If that theory holds weight, it paints an even messier picture. It makes you wonder how long Alicia might have been living inside a slow burn scandal that was sitting in plain sight while everyone else thought it was just harmless gossip. Every new layer of this tea just keeps piling up, one bag after another, until it's practically boiling over. And honestly, it makes Alicia's decision to finally speak on the secret engagement feel a lot more understandable. At this point, the history, the whispers, the flashy distractions, it's all catching up, and pretending it doesn't exist is no longer an option. And speaking of history, this isn't the first time Lala and Swizz set off alarms. Way before the alleged engagement, their energy had already been questioned. People who were really watching noticed the way they interacted, and it wasn't just casual friendship vibes. There were looks that lingered too long, conversations that felt too private, and smiles that didn't fade as quickly as they should have. The chemistry was there, and fans weren't blind to it. Back when Lala was still with Carmelo, she and Swizz were spotted at more than a few events together. And if you were paying attention, the body language told a story all its own. The tension was hiding in plain sight. Remember that one function where Alicia and Swizz were doing their PDA thing, with Alicia rocking her bare-faced, no-makeup look? Well, even then, people were side-eyeing the background, wondering what was really going on between Lala and Swizz. People swear that just a few feet away from Alicia, Lala and Swizz were in their own little bubble, trading those lingering looks and holding smiles that lasted a beat too long. It wasn't screaming, just friends. The vibe was different, and people who noticed couldn't unsee it. Then came the Met Gala. On the red carpet, Lala was interviewing Swizz, tossing him compliments and keeping the conversation light but playful. Swizz responded with big smiles and easy laughter, clearly vibing with her energy. It wasn't over-the-top flirty, but it had that spark. The kind of interaction that makes people watching lean in a little closer. It was subtle, but the chemistry was visible, and it definitely raised a few eyebrows. So when whispers of a secret engagement popped up, a lot of people weren't shocked at all.
Favorite looks of the night. Bro, you know, you're not doing too bad yourself. You come through and shut it down every single time. Tell me what you both are looking forward to tonight.
Just having fun and seeing a lot of people we haven't seen in a long time. You know, this is a night of art,
supporting the Met as artists and collectors ourselves, and we just want to have fun and just have that New York state of mind.
Of course, you have so many big New York records.
So honestly, for a lot of people, this so-called secret engagement, it's not shocking at all. Some would even say that it's a natural endgame of attention that's been shimmering for years. Energy that was always there, just waiting for the right moment to fully surface. But y'all, the part that really makes me side-eye Lala is because if you look closely, it looks like she's been playing this game for years.
For them, this wasn't some wild twist. It felt like the natural outcome of a tension that had been building quietly for years. The energy was always there, simmering in the background, just waiting for the right time to break through. And if you really pay attention, it almost looks like Lala had been playing this game strategically all along, that every time the streets start connecting Lala to Swizz, it's like another man magically appears in the picture. One moment, it's a New York City entrepreneur named Bear. Before that, it was some other mysterious guy nobody ever really got a name for. And every single time, Lala never confirms, but she never denies either. She just lets the chatter bubble while people run wild with speculation. No couple photos on Instagram, no official declarations, nothing to really lock her down. And if you think about it, that move is actually kind of genius. By letting the public chase these side stories and side quests, the main storyline, her connection to Swizz, stays blurred in the background. If that's the play she's been running this whole time, it's slick. That's PR masterclass energy, controlling the narrative without ever needing to say a single word. But here's where it all starts to unravel, because distractions only work for so long. And now that Alicia has thrown Lala's name directly into the spotlight, all those whispers, those side stories, those convenient misdirections start looking less like harmless gossip and more like deliberate cover-ups. Suddenly, the main drama is right there in plain sight, and it's harder than ever to ignore. And let's not forget, the internet hasn't erased how Alicia and Swizz first came together. Back in 2010, the very same year they tied the knot, Swizz finalized his divorce from Mashonda Tefrere. Mashonda was open about the pain, claiming Swizz had cheated and that Alicia knew he was still married when things between them started. She even said she was blindsided by the divorce, with no clue he was about to walk down the aisle with Alicia just months later. Since then, the three of them have built this image of a happy, blended family, smiling photos, united fronts, red carpet appearances, the whole polished act. But not everyone's buying it. A lot of fans still see cracks under the picture-perfect exterior. One fan even summed it up sharply: Swizz damaged that woman's heart. He didn't create a happy blend, he created turmoil and dressed it up for the media. That line hit hard, and it's stuck with people ever since. So when you put today's Lala situation into perspective, it doesn't feel random at all. It feels like déjà vu, history repeating itself. The grand gestures, the secret whispers, the flashy distractions. It's the same playbook, just with a new face in the mix. And Alicia? She doesn't seem ready to sit back quietly this time. If anything, it looks like she's drawing a line in the sand, making it clear she hasn't forgotten the past, and she's not about to let this new storm play out unchecked. It all circles back to the main point. Alicia isn't just tossing Lala's name around for the sake of drama, she's planting her flag, showing that history won't be allowed to repeat itself without real consequences. And here's the twist that has everybody's jaw on the floor. Insiders claim Alicia is preparing to file for divorce. The reason? Swizz allegedly fathered a child outside their marriage. That revelation alone would be enough to shake everything, but the way it came out is even more shocking. According to whispers, Alicia didn't just hear this through gossip blogs or back-channel rumors, she allegedly found out through an actual court-ordered paternity test. Imagine getting that kind of confirmation in black and white paperwork. Not whispers, not speculation, but legal proof that your husband might have been living a whole other life. One fan put it bluntly online: Alicia Keys and Swizz Beatz divorcing? Child. How you get them is how you lose them. That sentiment has been flying through the comments, echoing the very storyline Alicia once faced years ago. And yet this time feels heavier. It's not just about a scandal, it's about receipts that can't be denied. But the wildest part? This bomb didn't drop in the middle of some random year. The timing connects directly into something even bigger. This news didn't break in a quiet moment. It dropped right after Alicia and Swizz went all out celebrating their 15 years of magic anniversary. The Instagram feed was glowing with picture-perfect posts, smiles, and captions about love standing the test of time. But if the timeline is right, Alicia may have been holding those paternity test results in her hand while posing for those anniversary photos. That's not just shocking. That's a level of PR control most people couldn't even dream of. And this isn't your everyday betrayal story. This isn't just about cheating. If Swizz truly has another child on the way, the stakes are entirely different. It's a whole new level of complication. Which brings us right back to the Lala situation, because while the baby news is unraveling, the engagement rumor is still buzzing in the background. And so here's the big question. If Alicia really does pull the plug on her marriage because of the baby, does that open the door for Lala to slide from the shadows into the spotlight? Could she go from alleged side piece to public fiancé? It sounds almost too messy to be real, but the timing lines up a little too perfectly. And when you layer that on top of everything else, Alicia and Swizz's history, Mashonda's old accusations, the carefully staged blended family photos, it's hard not to see the cycle repeating in plain sight. It's almost impossible not to see this entire situation as karma finally catching up. What once seemed like Alicia benefiting from someone else's heartbreak has now come full circle and landed right in her own marriage. It's like flipping back the pages of her diary, only this time the roles are reversed and Lala is the one waiting in the wings. That changes the whole picture. Instead of just another messy cheating scandal, it feels more like a replay of 2010, only now Alicia is on the other side of the story. And that's what leaves us with the ultimate messy question. Was this all part of a long game, carefully played out over years, or just a storm of terrible timing? Did Lala really move like a strategist, slowly positioning herself to get here? Or is this nothing more than a wild coincidence that just so happened to explode right on Alicia and Swizz's big anniversary? The timing feels too sharp, too clean, almost like someone set the pieces in place on purpose. So I've got to ask, do you think this was all planned from the start? Or did the universe just spin the block on Alicia? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss what's coming next, because this story is only getting hotter.